Hey friends, it's Len here at 1A Auto. Today I'm working on a 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser and I'm going to be replacing the upper control arm. It's going to be a very easy job and I want to show you how to do it. If you need this or any other part, you can always check us out at 1aauto.com. Thanks. Okay, so here we go. We're going to remove the wheel, 21mm socket, 6 lug nuts. The reason why I left this on a few threads is so I can put down the rest of the lug nuts so I have empty hands. We'll remove our wheel. Set this aside so it's safe. So now that we've got the wheel off, we've got a clear view of our upper control arm right here. We're going to remove this 10mm head bolt. This just holds your ABS wire bracket. Once this is out of the way, we'll be clear to continue. So I'm just going to you didn't see that, should use a hammer. Grab our bracket, swabbles around, it's nice and free. This clip right here goes straight through the ball joint on this side, but this side right here has a little hooky-doo that goes around the back side. So what you want to do is grab a small screwdriver or a pick, whatever you've got, drag it out. See if I can get it. And along the bottom side of the ball joint, just like that. Grab your cutters, don't cut it, but just kind of tug it out. That's what it looks like right there. Okay, you get the straight through, goes through the ball joint. Then you got the hooky-doo that grabs on. We're gonna remove this nut right here. The easiest way to do that would be if we didn't have the sway bar link in the way right here. If you wanted to, you could take this off and then just take out your sway bar link. Should be pretty easy. Once you do that, you'll be able to get to this very easy. Or you could just use a wrench and a ratchet. You could use a ratchet and a socket. I've got my 19mm socket, fits right on there. Wearing my safety glasses so I don't punch myself in the eye. Give that a nice tug. I want to make sure I don't go down too far because it'll get to the point where I won't be able to get my ratchet out of there. So just make sure you pay special attention to how much space you have. Once it's loose, you can just grab it with your hand. Take it right off of there. Easy peasy. This is a castle nut. It's got slots. You want to line the slots up with the holes in your ball joint. I'm going to grab my little hammer and I'm going to go ahead and give this a bonk right on the knuckle right here. I want to be careful for the boot and I want to be careful for those threads. It's super important that I don't damage the threads. I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm replacing this anyway, come to think of it. But if you weren't, then you want to be careful. I'm not going to worry too much about it, but basically I want to bonk right here. I wanted to mention that you want to put your nut back on, a few threads, just like that. This is so that when I break this free and this wants to come down, it can't come down and hurt me. Safety is the #1 concern at 1A Auto. Now I'm just going to give this a couple bonks. I'm going to wait for it to break free. Separated right here. Still got plenty of slack on my ABS cable or wire. Let's pull that up. There we are. Okay. At this point, we want to make sure that this can't go very far because we don't want to pull our axle apart. Hopefully that'll hold it enough for me. Yeah. So I'm not putting too much pressure on anything. Still nice and loose. I'm going to remove this right here, and that's going to take the bracket off of the knuckle here, and it's going to give us more slack on this ABS wire. We definitely want to make sure we don't put any tugs on the ABS wire. I'm removing this with a 12mm socket. Oops. That's what our bolt looks like. We'll set this aside. Cool. So now this moves around. We've got plenty of slack on everything. I like it. So right behind here, we've got a nut with a stud that comes out. And then over here, we've got a bolt end. Okay? So I'm going to grab the wrench for this. 19. Now what we're going to need to do is turn this to the left counterclockwise to break it free. Get it off of there. Super tight. Super duper tight. Whew. I'm gonna pop these pins real quick. Just gonna see if I can find my tool. There we are. Get that out of the way. This out of the way. Very nice. We have a clear view of what's going on. I'm going to try to remove this right here. Once I remove this, I'm going to be able to hopefully move this out of the way, and I'll be able to get a ratchet with a socket in there, and it's going to make my life a lot easier. As you can tell, everything's pretty rusted here. So I'm just going to go ahead and spray everything with a little bit of penetrant spray. Let's go over here too, just because. Okay. I'm going to remove that. I've got my 12mm socket. Just get it down on there. Just trying to give like short vibrations, essentially, just to try to break it free. Just because I don't want to twist it. If I twist it, it could break off into the frame. And it's just going to cause me a headache. That's what that bolt looks like. We'll set this aside. Okay. So now this can move. Now I've got plenty of room to be able to get a bigger socket and a bigger ratchet on here, and it should be a little bit easier for me. So I've got my ratchet, my 19mm socket. This is so much easier. All it took was just a 12mm bolt, and it really made my life easier. So this is spinning all the way up here, so I'm going to hold that. If you wanted to use an air gun on this, you had access to it, that might be great for you. I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way since I'm almost all the way done. Remove that nut and the washer. We'll put them together so we can remember that they go together. They were happy that way. Been together a long time. Cool. I'm going to take this off of here. There we are. Okay. Now what should happen, we should be able to put this bolt straight up this way. Just feel around behind there, see if there's anything that feels like it's getting in your way. I'm holding the washer because obviously the washer is not going to want to go up with it. If you feel anything in your way up there, just slide it out of the way. No big deal. Easy peasy. Good old Toyota. There we are. There's our bolt and our right front upper control arm. Easy peasy. Here we are, friends, a quick product comparison for you. Right over here, we have our original right front upper control arm out of our 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser. And over here, we have our brand new quality 1A auto part. As you can tell, these two parts are shaped the exact same. It's very important to make sure that you've got your U going in the same direction, right? The ball joint's located over here and not over here. If for some reason yours is on this side, you've just got the wrong side. It's no big deal, okay? You've got our mounting areas right here. This is where that through bolt went through. This is where it connects to the knuckle right here, the ball joint. You take off this nut right here. Comes with a brand new nut, which is always great. Comes with a brand new boot as well, of course, right? It's very important that it does. This has everything that we need to go ahead and complete this job, so I'm going to go ahead and install it. if you need this or any other part, you can always check us out at 1aauto.com. Thanks. Okay, so we've got our long bolt here. All right, it would be nice to use something like this. A little bit of copper never sees. I'm not going to do this yet, but I am going to do it once I start getting it up into the vehicle. If I do it now, of course, then I'm going to be handling it. It's going to be a pain in the butt. So copper never sees would be good. You can go right up inside the tube area. This tube comes down from here, diagonal, and it comes out the other end. Okay. That's going to make this bolt come out nice and easy in the future if we end up having to take it out again for any reason. Okay, we'll take our control arm. We want to make sure that we have our ABS wire out of the way. It goes above the control arm. We'll just set this down for now. I'm going to bring the bolt up and into the fender well. And then I'm going to start sliding it right through the control arm, through that tunnel area, and then through the other end of the control arm. So I'm going to get the washer down at this end, obviously. I'm going to go this way. Bring this up here. There we are. Okay. Grab my control arm. Getting everything lined up is fun. I'm going to spray that on there. And I'm going to continue putting my bolt through. I'm just going to walk along with it. It's going to come out the other end there. Here we are. Clean off the excess. We don't need all that on there. Cool. So now, when we go to tighten up this control arm bolt, you want to make sure that the control arm isn't sitting straight down like this. Essentially, you want the control arm to be happily sitting, imagining that the ground force was on the vehicle, or So essentially, the wheels are on the ground. Your suspension's going to kind of hold this up approximately about here, pretty much parallel to the ground. So that's about where you want to keep it when you're tightening this up. So however you need to make it so it's going to stay like that, you can go ahead and use something like a, this pry bar is a little long, but pry bar, just stick it through like that. That'll hold it. You of course want to make sure you're wearing safety glasses for all this. But now I'm going to take my washer and my nut. They both go together. Put that on there. If you want to use a little bit of thread locker, you can clean this down, use thread locker. It's up to you, your prerogative. For the purpose of this video, I'm not going to worry about it. There we are. I'm going to hold this side with my 19, tighten that side up with my 19 socket. Okay, getting snug here. We're going to torque this down to 85 foot-pounds with our 19 millimeter. Get it on there. Hold the wrench side. Hold that. There we are. Just gonna hit it one more time. Perfect. Torqued, 85 foot-pounds with a 19 millimeter. Get this out of the way. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put a little bit of copper never sees here. Just in the bowl hole where we took that line off, or the line bracket. The line bracket has a little ear. That's gonna sit inside the rearward hole. And then the forward holes for the bolt. Just wiggle it around, set that in there. We're going to tighten this up. Grab this. Just going to slide these through. Just like that. This one. Same thing. Over here. Push that up in there. Perfect. Now we can move ahead to the next step. There. Bring this over. There we are. So we know this is going to go like this. We'll just grab our new nut. We'll bottom this out, get the nut on here, we'll move along to the next step. We're gonna go ahead and tighten up this control arm right here, or upper ball joint to the knuckle. Okay, just gonna take a peek. Okay, now we'll torque it to 81 foot-pounds. The hole in the ball joint stud doesn't line up with the slots in the upper ball joint nut. So now what we need to do is continue turning that clockwise until the next slot lines up with the hole. Continue with our ratchet. I'm just gonna bring this, like I said, so the slot matches up with the hole. And we're gonna take our little clip, put it through, just like this, and then bring it up. And it should want to grab into one of those little slots. Now it's going nowhere. It's happy there. Perfect. We'll put in this upper bolt. I like to just use a little bit of copper never seize up there. It's your prerogative if you want to. We've got our 10mm head bolt. We're going to line up this bracket. Try to get our bolt going straight. Here we are. Grab my 12mm socket. If you want to put a little copper never seize into the knuckle on this, that's up to you. Might make it so this comes out easy someday down the line. A lot of times they like to break off into the knuckle and you'll have to drill and tap, and it becomes a little bit of a pain in the butt. Okay, bottomed out. Just gonna give it a little bit, and that's enough. We don't want to break it off. Okay, now we'll just feel around. Make sure everything's secured. You definitely want to make sure that your ABS wire is nice and secured. It's not hanging off anywhere. This one looks like it's doing all right. All right, let's move to the next step. Okay, so now we're gonna put the wheel up onto the rotor / hub area. To do that, these wheels can be fairly heavy. I'm just gonna show you something. You wanna make sure you have a couple lug nuts in your hand here. It's gonna be helpful. You're gonna take it, roll it up against your leg, just like this. Now you're gonna use your leg / core muscles, abs, whatever, to roll it up your leg and then lift with your leg and ab muscles instead of using your back. Now we're just gonna get one of these lug nuts started on here. Once we have a few good threads, we can release the wheel if we need to. I have a couple lug nuts, so I'm just gonna hold it. We know the wheel can't go anywhere. Now I can grab the rest of my lug nuts and start all those on. Now all we're gonna do is bottom them out. We're gonna go in a crisscross pattern, or I guess in this it would look more like a snowflake. Okay? So here, 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 here. We're never gonna go around in a circle. You do that, you could kink your wheel off to the side, think you have it tight. Even go ahead and torque it down, think it's tight. Drive it down the road, hit a bump. Next thing you know, it breaks free, okay? So, make a nice little snowflake. Okay, they're all bottomed out. We can move to the next step of torquing them. Okay, so now we're gonna torque up the wheel. We're gonna use our 21mm socket. We're gonna go in a crisscross pattern, snowflake, call it whatever you want. 85 foot-pounds. That one's a little looser than I could have had it, but it's all right. There we are. You wanna go around again? Go around again. There we are. Easy peasy.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1aauto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.